So, welcome everyone to this wonderful weekend of Thanksgiving in the United States. That, of course, marks the beginning of the holiday season. But I think the most important part is that it is the duration where we spend a lot of time with our family, and also we spend this time expressing a lot of gratitude. Which of course we should be doing through the year, but I think we all get reminded during this part of the year that we must do that. And Daji's book on building wisdom bridges, I feel could not have come at a better time than this. And I think there are some really important lessons in the book that have been appreciated around the world. And I will certainly urge you all to take the time to read the book, as we all sort of also pause and get away from our very hectic lives. So do take the time to read the book. And I was just thinking how to start this session off, and I felt like since eating meals together are a really big part of Thanksgiving, I wanted to read a really short excerpt from the book Building Wisdom Bridges, where Daaji speaks about, and here I quote: "Before beginning a meal, a good way to center oneself is through prayer. The reason many cultures propose offering a prayer of gratitude before eating food is to bring the mind and body into a state of flow. It's been scientifically proven that gratitude helps us form better bonds. It motivates us to connect with those around us and know them better." So, this is just one example of the very many wisdom pearls that are in this book. So please do take the time to read the book. And I think Daaji should be joining us soon as well. And I'd, of course, like to welcome all of you again for, to this live session. Pranam, Daaji, how are you?
I'm good. How are you all? Good to see so many from North America, and happy holidays. It's a new beginning.
Yes. So, Daaji, I would just like to start the session by inviting Brother Krishna Linga, who is, of course, the secretary of our mission, and for him to just provide a quick update on the various initiatives that have been put together for the giving season, along with a lot of initiatives that they're driving to support the Forest by Heartfulness. So, brother, over to you.
Sister, thank you, Daaji, for joining us this evening. You look much younger today.
Thank you.
Daaji, as all of us, we had a difficult year last year with COVID. But in North America, we tried our best to bring awareness and adoption of heartfulness to every community in North America. In this regard, Daaji, we had a collaboration with the University of California, San Diego on our research activities. And we also promoted heart warmers with collaboration with CASEL. It's an organization on mental and emotional learning. And we are actually partnering with some of the schools to help the children. And we also had a significant events with the Indian diaspora organizations. We had one in Washington, D.C., ATA, American Telugu Association, where we had participated about 15,000 attendees. And with that regard, Daaji, last night, I went to I just want to give you some what I learned last night. I went to a engagement of my friend's daughter. There are ladies talking about heartfulness. I was listening to them that they had participated in ATA, and they are talking about our meditation. I've overheard that conversation. So it is actually spreading the awareness. And I think we are going to participate similar Indian diaspora organizations next year also. And we also conducted a very significant CME conference in New York City this year, where we had more than 150 participants in that conference. And we have a very good collaboration with API, American Association of Indian Physicians of Indian Organization. And the current president, Dr. Ravi Kohli, is our Abhyasi and is actually very fond of our organization and also our practice. He is actually meditating, and he has visited Kanha also. And we have a continuing classes to all the API members on every Sunday, satsang. About 100 to 150 doctors participate in that group. And we also have an ongoing ATA satsang on every Sunday. And we also have about more than 150 to 200 ATA members participate in addition to our own Abhyasis. And we are going to start similar Sunday satsang with the Thana members shortly, Daaji. And we will also participate with Thana convention in July in Philadelphia. So all these, as you know, requires significant effort, and we don't have paid services. Everything costs money. And we also in North America are using external help, external services wherever we need, where we don't have expertise. For example, marketing, social media, etc. So all these things needs resources. So I request each member in North America to make use of this giving season opportunity, especially the Tuesday, which is the 29th of November, where many corporations will double the match. That means if we give $1, they will give $2. So the mission will get $3. So many organizations will double only on Tuesday, which is Giving Tuesday. That's the significance of Giving Tuesday. So please check wherever you are working. And we also sent a bulletin this morning where we have given list of corporations that we know of matching. And if your corporation is not listed, we can register in your corporation to get the benefit of this. So please reach out to one of us and we will help you how to register also. And one small correction, this morning in the bulletin we sent, there was a typo. The giving season starts on November 29th. So in the bulletin, it mentioned as November 30th, 2021. It was a typo. So Tuesday it starts and ends at December 31st. So please make use of this opportunity and encourage your colleagues also to participate at work. With that, over to you, Pragya.
Thank you so much. That's a lot of work and extremely heartening to see so much activity. And yes, a lot of the corporates give. So I think we at an individual level and also at a corporate level must contribute in our little capacity that we can, so that Heartfulness can grow and expand and help achieve Daaji's mission of making sure that heartfulness is in every home in the world. So surely, and I'd just like to start this by also mentioning that Dr. Gary Huber from Dayton, who has attended many Dilse sessions, is also here. And, we also have some Abhyasis from the North American region who've joined us from Kanha. As of course, all of you have joined us over YouTube from other parts of the US as well. So our first question is from Larry from Colorado. He's joining us from Denver, and it'll be great, Larry, if you could, please give us a little bit of an introduction of how long have you been meditating? And then of course, please do ask your question.
Thank you, Pragra. My name is Larry Murtismaster, and I'm from Longmont, Colorado. Margaret Schenkman was my very first preceptor, and Tarun and Latha, during their time in Denver, blessed us with their presence and were very inspirational to my path. I joined the practice in 2015. My wife had been a longtime practitioner, Karen Buckland, and almost immediately upon forming our relationship, I was gifted with the chance to meet Margaret and to begin practicing. So it has been, I work as a trial lawyer. I have a very stressful life and job. And the first thing that happened to me, Master, is my blood pressure dropped as I began meditating. I'm grateful for your presence. I'm grateful for the friends and the inspiration I've gotten from the practice. Rohit has been a gift to me as well. Master, my first question for you is, during the early days of the pandemic, you spoke of engaging in an accelerated practice, which, undertaken with true devotion, would affect a splintering of a portion of the soul into the brighter place while we still lived in this world. Can you speak more about this aspect of splintering the soul?
Good to know you, Larry. I thought lawyers' life was not so stressful. They give a lot of stress to others.
It goes both ways, masters.
Yes. Well, the whole concept, how Lalaji must have come to this conclusion that whether the world believes it or not, whether the sadhus and sannyasis, sages and saints believes it or not, but I say loudly that soul divides itself. I kept wondering that when all holy scriptures, they keep on talking, soul is perfect in itself, needs nothing else, it is eternal. And how come the need to divide itself came into its role of existence? Then the first idea that occurred to me, since Lalaji is not around, but he keeps guiding us. Various ways he keeps on creating situations and creating conditions in us so that we learn what he was preaching. We understand very deeply through our own experiences. One is that when the universe began and souls came out from the source, that itself shows that the source too divided into many millions and billions or trillions, and it continues to, the creation continues. It has not stopped. Some people say, when will the introduction of new souls stop? It cannot stop. Something that has started, it will continue until the moment of withdrawal comes. Okay. Now, there are two extremes as far as consciousness is concerned, and consciousness is carried by evolved as well as not so evolved individuals. Give you an example. If you break a rock, you can break it into multiple pieces at a physical level. There is no causal body in a rock. Okay. When you talk of plants, especially shrubs and trees, there too, there are plants, there are shrubs and trees with various levels of consciousness. In between insects, animals, the human beings, within the human frame itself, we have various levels of consciousness. The whole spectrum is so wide. At the same time, the soul level of soul, the vibratory level of soul also, which is determined by this consciousness, will also change because your consciousness is different. Now, coming to the main point, when you take a tree here, people tree or tulsi or a banyan tree, you can make the cuttings. You take a lemon tree or any citrus fruiting tree. The tree is one. It has one soul. If you cut it into many cuttings and allow it to grow, provide the right atmosphere, they will all grow. Does that not suggest that soul had divided and now it has multiplied? Now, that is possible only with some plants, not with all plants. For example, acacia, you make the cutting and put it into the soil, it will not grow. Okay. You take the seeds, allow it to grow, it will continue as a new life. We at a human level, see, when you are talking about soul division of the soul, based on the spectrum of individuals, the lower level of consciousness of human beings and a bit higher level of consciousness of human beings. Lower level of human beings cannot. The soul doesn't have that potency to divide itself. If that soul with a lesser potency divides itself, body will become very weak and die out. It will wither away. Only having reached a certain level of potency, that the soul begins to divide under the care of the master. Because that's also required. And that happens in an atmosphere which does not kill that, does not destroy that new being that has come into fore. Like you have a small sapling which you like to protect it very much. The soul, if it divides and allowed to stay at this level of heaviness of vibrations, it cannot survive. The soul with that level of potency, it will have to be born in a brighter world. So with the help of the master, when, quoting Babuji Maharaj, not so exactly, but he says, everyone knows mother's love. Very few understands the love of a guru, and very rare ones understands the love of God. Then he continues saying that when mother carries a child in her womb for 9 months, nourishes that child and brings the child into this world. Similarly, Guru also keeps the disciple in his mental womb for 7 months continuously and gives the birth in the brighter world, in a more protected arena where there are no dangers of heavier vibrations. So it will continuously keep growing there. The hierarchy of master will look after those souls there. Okay. Now, can everyone's souls, I mean, all Abhyasis will get the opportunity of being born in the brighter world? I wish, I pray that all may be born there. And it has a reason also why it should. I've been thinking very deeply about it, the creation. Why did God create us in the first place? What is the reason? And the idea comes, being a businessman, when you think of investment. You know, when you send out your son or a daughter to run a business, you give $1 million perhaps and say, okay, my son, my daughter, go run a business. And after 10 years, son says, Dad, here is your 1 million you gave me. I protected it very well. I put it in the bank, and this is the interest also, which is hardly 1% or 2%. So at the present rate of inflation, you have actually lost in that investment. Though you have returned 1 million, but it has devaluated so much, it has not much of a value after 10 years. Similarly, soul, having moved away from the source, God had the intention that when it returns back with not this potency X with which it departed from here, but it must return back with 10x or 100x or million X. And this division of soul makes it possible. Because you're no longer one entity, you are multiple. You're two now, maybe three with in another birth perhaps. And you find a right guru who can make you be born again. But two are possible for sure. And both doing the practice with a lot of dedication, leading a very simple and joyful life full of acceptance as it moves on. See, there are no grudges towards anyone. We always talk about she hurt me so much or he hurts me so much, and our life passes on just complaining. And whose life is so, serene that there are no problems in life? Everyone has problems in life. And soul of potency understands and rises above these problems. He said, this is a common thing. How am I different? If I continue to, blah, blah, blah about my problems, then I am like the rest of the world. But no, God did not create me for such things. Whatever I can do, I will do. I like to lead a simple life. Somebody curses me, okay, that is their preference. That is their choice. So our purpose is through practice, through dedication. We enrich our existence here. And parallelly, as I enrich myself here through transmission, because of the osmosis of the soul in the brighter world, it also draws nutrition, or it draws its nourishment. If I fall here, I succumb to certain weaknesses. The soul there will quiver. It will also wrinkle up and say, what's going on? So you are hurting yourself by crossing certain limits. We need to create limits in our lives, create banks of limitations. I always remember Clint Eastwood dialogue, man got to know his limits. And we have to establish our own limits. How far can I go? With life of simplicity and purity, you can go everywhere. There are no limits for such a being. So life of simplicity and purity, life of tenderness and reverence, I think that is worth living. Tenderness towards everyone, reverence towards all. Even the glass that we use, even the remote that we carry, the phone that we use, pick it up with some tenderness, some reverence, don't just grab it and say, who the hell is this? No, it will not work. A person who is leading a high level of life, which is rich with nobility, and who is in osmosis, or who like to create that with its own replica in the higher world, cannot afford to be rude, cannot afford not to be tender, not to be reverential. And it has nothing to do with God. It has everything to do with your own enrichment, increasing your own potency. Moment you lose here, anger or whatever, you're contracting yourself. Your expansion, your evolution is contracting, is good. And that's not good for evolution.
Thank you, Daaji.
Thank you. It's a lovely question. Thank you.
Morning. Or
Hello,
afternoon.
John.
All right. How are you? How are you?
Wonderful, John. Wonderful. It's 9 o'clock here.
Yeah, it's morning here. It's late there. Yeah, I know.
Hello, Betsy.
Hello, you're looking very well.
Yes.
Thank
Nice
you,
to
Ma.
see you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
So
saying
good.
hello, and we'll move over to our next question. And thank you, Larry, for your very profound question, and of course, Daaji, very interesting analogy between business and creation. So we'll go over to our next question from Vancouver. Do we have them online?
Yes, can you hear us?
Yes, we can. Please go ahead with your question.
Good evening, Daaji. I am Shashi. We are all joining from Vancouver. The first question is from Akash. The question is, while talking about character formation, childhood and upbringing by parents play a huge role. While there are many moments we cherish, there are a few actions or behaviors which scar us deeply. Growing up as adults, how do we come to peace without regretting or blaming?
Well, with so much of awareness that you have, I don't see any reason why you should feel bad. Since you're already so protective of your actions, thoughts and actions, you need not worry at all. You will soar higher. But people who have already committed something wrong in life, and there is guilt weighing on them, or weighing on their heart, what can be done? Babuji's quote would be, no one can remove your guilt, impressions of the guilt. Not even the master, not even God. You have to unload the burden of guilt through a true apology to yourself and committing yourself, promising yourself, henceforth I will not do this. End of it. When your heart cries out with sincerity, it will wash away all the guilt. You are the creator, and you only have the ability to dissolve it. No one can do it. Also remember that whatever has happened, be it guilt, be it good, be it bad, you cannot change it. When we do something good, there is also a regret. I could have done better. But why feel bad even then? Next opportunity will come where you can outshine your performance.
Yes, Daaji. We also have our next question from Maladi from New Jersey. Would you like to unmute yourself and ask your question?
Hello. The question the question we'd like to ask is, you've said that it's very vital, the importance of the future for heartfulness. We'd like you to expand on that idea, if you could please do so. and share what we could do to incorporate that for the coming years.
Lakshmi. And she's Malati, not Malavi, yeah? Malati.
Sorry about that, Daji.
No, it's okay, it's okay. She has many names. She's Lakshmi also. She's our brighter mind, ambassador. So you have done excellent as far as carrying out the message of brighter mind goes. You have demonstrated through your behavior, through your actions, through your actions in the class and outside as well. With heartfulness. Think of for a moment that you're a salesperson. And what are you selling here with heartfulness? The practice. It's a gadget. You can say if you have to sell a gadget, you have to demonstrate it. You have to demonstrate how good this gadget is and what all it can do. So similarly, through our life, we have to demonstrate what all it can do in our lives. You see, if you tell someone that it removes a level of anxiety and stress from your life and you're always on the go and you're always stressed out, how are you going to promote heartfulness as a stress reducer or anti-stress? You can't. One has to practice it fully to even become example or ambassador of the system. Most of us, unfortunately, despite of knowing the efficacy of practice, we somehow tend to ignore the actual practice. Babuji says, fix your time for meditation before dawn. I have always struggled. I am not the classic best example, but I have done one thing. I have fixed my time. And at that time, if I cannot meditate for half hour for whatever situation, but at least I'll present myself at 7:30 morning or 7 in the morning, present myself to the master from inside, connect myself, even for 2 minutes. And promise myself that I will carry this moment all throughout the day. So my practice has to be enriched, not just mechanically, but with all my heart. And you can excuse yourself from practice when circumstances are so, because we don't have a hardcore practice. We don't demand it, but that does not mean I should take the liberty out of the whole situation. See, evening cleaning. I find, I like this scenario which I like to present before you all. Now, recently, one of the commissioners at Hyderabad city, they approached us to clean the lakes because the water was so bad and so stinking and full of algae. And they have about dozens of such polluted lakes in the city where people don't even like to walk around the banks. So I visited with few of our engineers from Kanha Shanti Vanam. And what we found was that because of these apartments coming all around the pond, they were unfortunately letting their sewer system go into the pond water, polluting it completely. So I told the commissioner, look, we can clean your lake, but who is going to stop the sewer system discharging their waste into the pond? And as long as that goes on, how many times will you do this cleaning of the lake? And I do understand that our situation as Abhyasis is perhaps worse. Because somebody is sneaking or sneakingly throwing that sewer into the pond. But here we, as Abhyasis, with full awareness, with full cognizance, with full participation, we're creating the sewer system with inlets into our hearts, making it heavier and heavier and heavier. So even when you do the cleaning, you have been continuously creating more and more samskars. When will it end? Babuji says, there must come a time when your master says, enough of practice for you. Now you don't need to meditate or you don't need to do the cleaning. So automatically when we arrive at that stage, I think, where you feel proud of yourself. And when you do feel proud of yourself, automatically, without making any efforts, you won't even have to convince anyone that, look, heartfulness. No, you are the product. You display yourself with your actions, with your performance in life. That speaks louder than what you can speak through your lips. That does not mean that we don't share it. We of course share it. Whoever asks how is meditation, how it is done, we do share all these things. But the best impact would be when we live, when we exemplify what we practice in life.
Thank you for asking that question. And Daaji, sometimes your honesty and being so vulnerable almost makes you human and allows us to feel like there is some hope, at least if we are not able to follow the first maxim. So thank you for being so honest. We'll move over to Fremont for to Fremont for the next question, please.
Hello, my name is Pratima, and heartfelt hello from the Fremont Ashram in California. My question is, if Source is all-knowing, then why does it need to learn through human experiences?
I really don't know, my dear. And whether this belief is true or not is also questionable. Why would Source would try to assume human form to experience humanity? That is also a questionable thing. So on a fragile question based on just logic, I don't think we can have really a heartfelt answer. It will be again a speculation.
Okay. Thank you. Could we go to Orlando for the next question, please? I always feel like I'm traveling around the US, Daaji, through this session. We have so many people joining us from all over.
Good morning, Daaji. This is Rishika. We're gathered here in Orlando Center. So the question we have today is, so revered Lalaji has said that character formation is the Abhyasi's responsibility. So as an Abhyasi grows spiritually, does character formation become automatic, or do we still continue to work on it?
We have to keep working on our character, even when you become the master. It is not something automatic. We have to keep continuously refining ourselves. And there is no end to this refinement. right now, I wonder how Babuji Maharaj would have answered all these questions based on his refinedness. And I wonder how Lalaji would have answered based on his refinedness. They would have been spectacular answers to the point. People like me have to wander around here and there, you see. That shows my level of refinedness. And there is no end to it. And when I do think that could I have given these answers better? Certainly. I can do better. If I had slightly little better condition, I can still meditate a little more and refine myself and come back with a better answer. So there is no end to this refinement. And refinement means, again, how you modulate your talk, how you modulate your thoughts, how you modulate your actions. That is also character. Character has nothing to do whatsoever. I mean, not just around what we understand. What is character? People say he or she has a loose character. What does you mean by loose character? See, people have a very narrow understanding of character. In most religious connotations, character means how is your relationship with other person? With how do you indulge with sex? How honest are you with your partner? So there is something about character in a mundane sense, in a religious sense. But Acharyaji Maharaj used to say character is all about how you measure the doses of your energy investment. Count your words before you speak. For a preceptor, exact dose of transmission, precise cleaning. No more abuse of transmission. Of course, transmission at the disposal of any preceptor is infinite. There is no question of wastage, because the moment you give transmission, and if there is extra transmission, it goes back to the source. Yet one has to be very careful in injecting the right dose of this transmission and right dose of sankalpa for a specific time. So time management, your resources management, I think it covers everything. When you say energy management, it covers everything, including time and resources. Like when the entire Europe, I think there is so much of financial crunch there. I mean, you can feel, I can measure it in a very indirect way. Abhyasis emails, stressful emails, they're not able to come the way they used to come earlier. In United States also, now we are entering into a different phase of our life as far as economy is concerned. So how do we make use of this time? How do we adjust our resources to match with these difficulties we are facing or going to face? Are we careful about it? Okay. And, Brother Krishna Linga was talking to you about how you can contribute. I would say if you don't have the ability to contribute, and because of this contribution, your family is going to suffer, please don't contribute. That is not Sahaj Marg. That is not heartfulness way. It's only when you are flowing with extraordinary resources, then you contribute. Then you can't be stingy. Then you have to be extra generous. But when you are struggling and you have to really work hard at it, it's better to tighten your pockets. I think these Pragya questions will go on and on and on and on, and there is no end to it. I think it's
Yes,
best we meditate, if you all agree.
of course, Daji.
Okay. And those who did not ask questions, at least bring it to the surface of your heart and let that question emerge in your heart and see how your heart responds to that question. Okay. So let's all meditate. Okay. Please start meditation. That's all.
So thank you so much to everyone for joining us. And I think there couldn't have been a better way to kick this Thanksgiving week off, because all of your questions, I feel, have put us in the right frame of mind and openness to spend this quality time with our family and, learn from our elders, and also be available to all of the youngsters in our family so that we can share our experiences that can help them guide them through their process of life. So thank you so much, Daaji, and thank you always for your precious time and always sharing and giving all of yourself every time we are here and asking you questions. So thank you so much, and thanks everyone. Thank you, everyone. Have a great week ahead.